during the week. And 25 years ago was something infamous, I think it's fair to say, at the track. This is a bit special because Gabriel Clark looks back at the race that never was.
To have a horse running the National is like finding a needle in a haystack. Anyone can achieve that dream.
Every year I had to ride in it, I was hoping I was going to win this.
25 years ago, Patrick Bancroft's only racehorse would run its first Grand National. It was the final time his jockey expected to compete in the race. Their trainer had won the National famously 10 years earlier.
I mean, every time a horse wins the Grand National, there's always a story behind it.
And that day in '93, trainer, owner and jockey knew they had a contender.
Esha Ness was just everything you want in a national horse. Good jumper, bags of stamina.
He's a magnificent looking horse and he's in good shape.
He's even making John White look stylish. I mean, you've got to be pleased with that.
39 horses lined up, overseen by Captain Keith Brown.
Now get the heads back, I can't get the tape up.
Starting his last National.
It was a filthy, filthy day, and there was a massive delay for protesters that year.
It looks as though Keith Brown is pretty well ready to dispatch them now.
The tape is spread over 30 to 40 metres. So when the wind and the rain have got into this, so it's got a real lag in the middle.
And a red flag is being raised, and it is in fact a false start.
I won't use the word, but it was whole flipping heck. You cannot be serious.
The recall man stands a few hundred yards down the track with a flag. If the starter waves his red flag, he's meant to pick that up and then wave his flag.
Now they're being called in again.
Things were ramped up to a level that I hadn't experienced in the National before.
I doubt if Keith Brown will wait indefinitely.
He must have been desperate to get it off a second time.
And they're away. Oh, and once again they're snagged on the tape, and it's a recall.
Chaotic. It was like a circus.
They've been recalled, but the majority don't realise that it is a recall.
Did you see the recall man waving his flag?
No, never saw him. Because if we had it done, we'd have stopped.
Well, here's one of the greatest sensations ever in the National. There were 9 horses still waiting at the start.
I think, well, perhaps they're going to let this ride.
Then, as we go to the water jump, it was clear to me that there was a major issue. The vast majority of us pulled up at that point.
Boos from the crowd as they jump the water.
I didn't see any reason to pull up. So I didn't think there was anything wrong, you know, at all.
Right up there is Esha Ness. They're being told not to go out in the country, but they're going on.
I could just see him jumping really nicely in about 6th or 7th. Perfect.
We were thinking, if he stays, this horse has a right chance.
Here are these heroic competitors, believing that the race is on.
This is it, like, you know.
Esha Ness is the winner. 2nd is Carvilla Howe. 3rd is Romany King for the committee.
You've done it. You've won the National. It didn't last for long. About 30 seconds.
So you've won the National for 30 seconds?
That's it. Yeah, it wasn't great.
I was so shell-shocked, I just thought our chance had gone.
Well, extraordinary scenes and extraordinary pictures here.
They're still debating, looking at that replay.
Captain Brown initially wanted the race rerun with the 9 horses who hadn't full started.
See you in the courts. I never heard anything so stupid on my...
Can we not have a ruling?
For 25 minutes, the sporting world waited.
So no decision is made?
We thought it was people that maybe were trying to stop the National.
I still think that the jockeys that went out on the 2nd circuit must have known that there was a major issue. If they had have pulled up, the race may well have been run the following day.
People can think what they like.
You've ridden in a National?
We're not going for a ride on the beach. You can get hurt, your horse can get hurt, and you're there to do a job.
I've just heard that the race has been declared void and will not be rerun.
In that case, all the stakes will be refunded, Des.
I don't know what the betting tax is off £78 million, but that's what the bookies lost. It was massively disastrous.
That's just shambles. That's all I say. Just got my money back.
The classic expression was, the national that never was. That about sums it up.
The Jockey Club's inquiry largely exonerated Captain Brown, but blamed recall man Ken Evans for failing to wave his flag.
Terrible. Terrible.
He was never one of the captains, and the captains should have taken the blame.
If I had to do it tomorrow under the same circumstances, I would do exactly the same again.
In my opinion, it was his fault. He made a mistake.
The clue's in the name. It was his job to get them started.
When you boil this all down, if there'd been a flag start for the second start, we'd have been talking about Esha Ness as a fantastic Grand National winner.
I mean, he went round there like a Rolls Royce and finished the race in the second fastest time. There's nothing not to think that's wonderful about it.
You know, at least a few days go by sometimes when I don't think about it, but I will always be convinced he would have won whatever. No doubt in my mind.
It says winner, Esha Ness, because the horse didn't realise what was going on. He gave it his best shot.
I wanted to be on the Roll of Honour with the horse, and Jenny, and John. Perhaps that's something they could still do.
Jenny Pittman did win her second national 2 years later, when White rode Esha Ness for the final time.
We parted company somewhere along the line.
The Grand National is the greatest race, and I still want to win it. And you know, I bought a new horse with Amanda, my wife. Back in his pedigree is Corbière, Jenny Pittman's first national winner. And it'd be lovely, wouldn't it, to be the guy who won the race that never was, and then came back and won it properly, you know.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It was a sad day. It was an extraordinary. I've never felt so flat. I was here that day, and I felt devastated about it. Listen, it wasn't the end of the world, but it was a bad situation. What's your? You didn't ride, did you, in the race?
Oh, I was supposed to ride just so in the race, and he was actually taken out on the morning of the race, and I went to Hereford to ride, because Hereford used to always be on a Saturday, and I was gutted watching, but when I saw what unfolded, I was probably the only jockey who was pleased, because I was at Hereford and not involved in the melee. It was really bad advertisement for our sport, and you know, the thing is, we're 25 years on, and you know, hopefully we're a little bit better, but are we?
On yesterday's evidence, it's still an issue to start. If you didn't see it yesterday, again, the horses came in too quick. What have you got to do? What should horses have done properly, and then what happened, mate?
Well, the big thing is here for Robbie Supple, you know, you can see where the tape, a couple of them had to duck under, and they were very lucky there in that situation that they weren't actually involved in it. But I just think that Robbie Supple's got a job to do. He's got to marshal 38 horses this afternoon, and his job is to try and ensure they get off to an even start. All the jockeys, all 38 of them, have to trust the starter. And if the starter says no, it's got to mean no. It can't mean maybe. And I think that's basically what Robbie was doing yesterday. He was telling them, look, this is how it's going to be, and this is how it will be.
And the irony of that is, Robbie Supple, who was the starter yesterday you referred to, you know well, top man,
yeah.
He rode that day. In 1993, there's the race card that day. Yeah. Was he on the second?
I think he was.
He rode.
Yeah.
But you can't underestimate what the atmosphere must be like at the start. Everybody's trying to keep control of their horses, however many of them, 38 of them, and they're competitive creatures, aren't they? Jockeys do not want to get left behind.
I think now the starters have better communication with their assistants, and there is every reason why now it shouldn't happen. I know yesterday was a bit, but I think Robbie was obviously happy that they all got off yesterday without being at a disadvantage as to how they started, you know, whereas, you know, Mark Pittman's kind of said that he was pretty sure that the lads that went out in the second serve, he thought they knew what had happened, but who knows?
What do you think? They must have known.
Possibly.
You'd be like, should we carry on?
He'd have carried on. Might have won.
But the only thing is, there's been a lot of Grand National winners since 1993 that maybe you can't remember the name of. you can remember Esha Ness.
That's absolutely right. Robbie Soppel actually won the second favourite that day. Robbie, good luck to you today. Let's hope at 5:15 they get away first time and everyone gets an equal chance. Right, let's head out.